Right now, with One Piece, there is a set where the top chasers are so oversold that they have plummeted to prices that I don't think they'll be holding much longer. These cards used to be Grails, but they are so cheap, and I'll explain why they are so cheap, but also why I believe they're going to pick up pretty quickly. So no need to waste your time, let's begin. Alright, so today we are going to be taking a look at the top chasers from OP14. I'm going to be showing you the price that they sell for and what they used to sell for. So first of all, is the Zoro, it sold for 5k, now it goes for $1.4 thousand. The Golden Buggy, it sold for 4.5k, now it sells for $1,700. Then you go to the manga, it sold for 3.6k, now it sells for $1,150. This one is specifically painful, and there's a good reason why, but this one is pretty bad. So this is almost, actually, I believe that's over 70%. Almost, I think about a 70% loss on this card if you bought it from the very high. But anyways, moving on, the Silver Buggy 2.9 all the way down to 1350. So these top chasers are plummeting. Now, here's the thing. I think that these don't really deserve the price that they're at, and I'll tell you the reason why. These cards are rare. Like this Gold Buggy, there's only 300 of them. Now, OP14 had a very different release from a lot of other releases. Most other releases were a lot more tame, right? But with OP14, I feel that because the entire supply, basically, of the booster boxes sold out and then virtually got opened up really quickly, what happened was that so many of the mangas that would slowly but surely get purchased via distribution, go to the card shop, and then on trade nights or on tournament nights or whatever it may be, people would open up boxes and slowly but surely they would open it up and pull the chasers and happy days. But the thing is, with OP14, it all happened practically in one day. So you had pretty much a year's supply get opened up in a day, and then all of the singles went off for grading. Why did it go off for grading? Because back in the day, if you've been in One Piece for a while, you would remember that with Grails, they didn't really have that much of a premium as PSA 10s. I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you look at this chart here, with the Zoro manga, for example, you will see that PSA 10 and just normal prices, they haven't really been that far off for a while. Like it's only been by about 20-ish%. But then you'll notice here, for some reason, the premium practically doubled. What does this mean? Well, what this means is if you pulled a $1,000 card, being, let's just say, the Bubble Zoro as a good example. Let's say you pulled this $1,000 card. Great, you submit it to PSA, you get it back, you're immediately at least doubling your money. If you have 500 people realize that they can do that, they are all going to do the identical thing. Send it to PSA, get a PSA 10, and then sell it immediately. So even though the supply is so small, you've got to remember, this Zoro, there are 865 out there. That is tiny, man. That is absolutely small. This has a Sanji. This has a Zoro. This card is such a nice looking card. Then you've got the manga, which is not the most popular character, but pretty loved character. And then you've got the gold card, where you've got only 300 PSA 10s. But the thing is, yes, only 300 exist, but it's almost being treated as if like 5,000 exist, judging by how many have been listed. And same goes to the Bubble Zoro. You would think that the Bubble Zoro is incredibly easy to pull. You'd think everybody's selling Bubble Zoros, everybody's got Bubble Zoros, but it's like, no, there's only 865. And if you look at the availability of this card versus some mangas out there, or even, dare I say, some Pokemon cards out there, there's only one Zoro for every 3 or 4 mangas. But then if you look at Pokemon, you'll see there's only one Zoro for every like 10 Mewtwo PSA 10 art from Destin Rails, but you'll see that this is still cheaper than that. And I think the reason why is because it's just so damn oversold. Now, before we continue this video, I just want to give a quick shout out to Cardboard Guardian for sponsoring today's video. So if you're not aware what Cardboard Guardian is, they are a company that sells protectors for your slabs. So you can protect them, but you can also make them look really nice in the meantime. So here's one of their products that they have. Now, it's a bumper. I'm sure you've seen this in tons of places, but what makes this really special is it has two contrasting colors, but also has a nice glitter effect as well. I'll try to put it on the screen so you can see it. It has a really nice glitter effect, and honestly, it's really high quality. I would not go to anybody else but Cardboard Guardian to get my bumpers. They do a fantastic job at this. But just to show you a couple other ones, they've got this blue and black one that looks really nice, and they've just got a ton of different colors that overall upgrade your display, meanwhile also protecting them. So make sure to check them out. Links are in the description. But anyways, let's continue with the video. So many people sold it in one period of time. The market simply could not absorb it, and it just collapsed on itself, because you'll see that the manga, you'll see that it is, what is it, where is the manga here? No, here we go. It's $11.50. It should not be this cheap, but it is this cheap because the market just could not absorb the amount of supply that just got dumped on the market. Now, you haven't really seen this happen for other sets because you didn't have basically the entire release. Most boxes, or at least a lot of boxes, all get opened up within a very short period of time, all get sent to PSA. The pops of these cards are, they're as if this card has been here for a year or 2 years. There's 903. I mean, if you look at the chopper from EBO1, there's only like 600 PSA 10s or 700 PSA 10s. The thing is, this card, there's more PSA 10s and it's only like 2 months old. So basically, let me show you a couple more things that I found quite interesting. So let's look at how many have sold, and let's look at the dates of them selling. Okay, so what I've done is I've set a filter where we can only see sales that are $1,000 and above. So we can only see the Grails from OP14. Now, if you pay attention, this is March 10th right here. Let's scroll down and you'll see we will get past March pretty quickly. This is all of the sales basically from March 1st and onwards. Now, if you look at February 28th to the 14th of February, so about a 14-day window, you will see how many have sold. There are so many. They just keep selling. Within February 23rd, 22nd, 21st, 20th, it just kept selling. You have so many sales. You just keep scrolling and there's so many sales until eventually you get to like February 6th. So within a very short period of time, so many of these multi-$1,000 cards just kept going on auction every single day. The Bubble Zoro, you would sometimes see 5 or I kid you not, sometimes even 10 selling in a day. Now, granted, 10 in a day was one of the rarer days out there, but you would see so many selling. But the thing is, that supply is eventually drying up. You can see how many have sold. So, OP14 above $1,000, 123 PSA 10s of the Bubble Zoro, the Silver Buggy, the Gold Buggy, and the Manga. Those 4 cards alone, 123 have sold, and it was mostly in the month of February. So in a 30-day, oh yeah, and also some of the BOA as well. So in a 30-day period, you had, so in about a 30-day period, you had 4 Grails, 4 auctions selling. This is not buy it nows as well, by the way. This does not include buy it nows, and this does not also include other sellers as well. This is purely the PSA website. eBay. This doesn't include Probstein. This doesn't include those consignment companies. It doesn't include card shops. It doesn't include card shows. It's purely just PSA and auctions. If you then filter and you go from it is also auctions. It's auctions and buy it nows. My apologies. So it's not just auctions, it's both of them, auction and buy it now. But if you then get card shows, you get all the other stores on eBay, I mean, in the span of a month, we could probably bump that number of 120 Grails selling in basically the span of about 30 days. We can probably get that number up to about 250 to 300 selling in the span of a month. Dare I remind you that the Zoro, there's not even 900 of those out there. There's not even 300 buggies out there. There's not even 900. So let's do the math here, right? So you got 850 plus 300. So 850 plus 300 is 1150. And then you get this dude here, so then that's 2,050. And then you get the final one, which is the silver, so 2,050. So it's about 2.2 thousand grails. That's about the supply. So for the top 4 cards, you've got about 2,000 PSA 10s available. Now, out of that, 123 of those 2,200 have been sold by the eBay website. The PSA eBay page. Now, let's just say that, yeah, you include card shops, you include card shows, you include individual sales. You got to also include every single Facebook deal, Discord deal, everything else, every other eBay seller. The number is probably more like, honestly, probably more like 300 to 400. I would probably speculate around that range. The thing is, if you have 2,200 and then out of those 400 have sold, that is almost 20%. I believe that's 18% of the entire supply being dumped on the market. These are not $100 cards. These are not $200 cards. These are multi-$1,000 cards. You can't just force the market to absorb 18% of the entirety of a supply of the 4 top chasers of a set. You can't force that. That has to just slowly but surely sell. That is absolutely ridiculous. And then when you look at that, then it actually does make sense. Like, hey, these cards are so incredibly cheap. If you look at other mangas, they'll be $3,500. You'll see other ones, they'll be, say, $5,000. But then if you look at some of these cards, you'll see even this Zoro now is selling for $12.51 as a PSA 10. Damn, that's cheap. And then when you look at a lot of other cards, you'll see that they are barely scraping $2,000. This dude is selling for $1,700. So then you look at it and it's like, okay, it actually now makes sense. The reason why they're so cheap, they're still fantastic looking artworks, but the reason why they are so damn cheap is purely because so many got sold. So hopefully you learn a thing or two from this video. I do find it very interesting on the prices of these cards. I do find it interesting on how I think we'll really see these cards bounce back in the future. They are all fantastic looking cards. They are popular characters as well. They're not these random unknown characters. I mean, this Zoro, for example, it's got Zoro and Sanji on the card. That's pretty good. So yeah, overall, I do think that these cards will do really well in time. You've just got to give it time for them to grow. If you do want to pick them up, I would highly recommend it. Now is probably the best time to pick it up. But anyways, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.